And when I went back to my doctor, she's like, it seems you might have had a mini stroke, but we can't really figure it out because now it's gone.
Stephanie, how did you find carnivore?
So that's a long story, actually. I'm trying to keep it short. And I had digestive issues my entire life, like even straight from birth. It already started the dilemma. I was a breech birth, actually, and I did not take well to breastfeeding. So I was a problem child right from the start. My mother, she gave me some formula. When I ask her today, she's still alive, even though I'm almost 50. Um, what was in that formula? She can't tell me. She cannot recall what there was actually what actually was in that. Um, she just knows that the first formula they gave me, I was allergic to. So they gave me a different one. Um, Then, as a child, I was always sickly. I had a lot of croup coughs. I had mumps. I had chicken pox. I got everything despite vaccination. I literally had everything you can get. Um, I think my first real issues started as a teenager, like breathing issues. I would throw up a lot. Like, for example, if we went to vacation and my diet changed, I would throw up. And at the time, we thought, maybe, I don't know, it was in the sun all day. Maybe there was something in it. But my mother or dad used to eat the same thing and they never got issues. Uh, then I had the surgery here. I can't even remember when it was. It was already when I was in my apprenticeship. I used to be a police officer. So the dentist put a new filling in here. And there's that tooth on the corner right here. I'm not sure what you call that in English. And when the anesthesia went away, I had nerve pain or whatever that was going up from where the tooth is all the way up into my forehead right here. And at the same time, it went all the way down into my bowels. So at first I thought maybe it's the filling, maybe I'm allergic to something that I can't have. And so we went back and he took it out, he put a new one in, never disappeared. And the first time that started, I thought was when the anesthesia went away. However, I realized it came and went whenever I would eat something. It was super bizarre. It was around 21 ish when that started, 21. And later on, as time progressed, one of my coworkers said, well, maybe you're allergic to wheat, like gluten. And I'm like, don't be ridiculous. Like, where would this come from all of a sudden? But it seemed like the surgery triggered it, like a traumatic event, which later on with research, I found out people who are susceptible to, I can't talk, susceptible to gluten allergy or gluten intolerance or celiac disease, that might be triggered by some traumatic event. Through some digging, falling into a rabbit hole with that whole thing, nowadays I found out that actually it wasn't the gluten, it was plants, period. Because I went gluten free. We found the gluten thing out when I was 28, about 7 years later. And I used to have pain on and off when I was eating, so I went gluten free. Well, the pain went away for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, other issues started. Like I was fatigued. I would just not remember things. Then I had some weird attacks that nobody knows what it was, and they were connected with. It's actually on this side. You can see my mouth drooping a little bit on this side. And when I went back to my doctor, she's like, it seems you might have had a mini stroke, but we can't really figure it out because now it's gone. Um, Turns out I had about 7 or 8 of those mini strokes over like a spread of, I don't know, 16-ish years. Like they were super rare. Um, Over the course of my lifetime, also I used to be an athlete. I started competing when I was 17 in the martial arts and won my last world title, number 5, when I was 36. So I quit competing. And then a few years later, around 39, 40, I started Ninja Warrior because of the television show. And couple months later, I found a gym, and then I started training there for 2 months, and right away I started competing there. So now I've been competing there since November 2019, and I met a gentleman there who was a carnivore, but I did not know that at the time. I did not know that at the time. And while I was training there, my pain came back. As I said, I had migraines, I had fatigue issues, all kinds of things. Whenever I would eat something, it would spiral out of control until a few hours later when it calmed back down. So it seemed to be connected with food, but who knows? Went back to my doctor. They couldn't figure out anything what might cause this. All tests came back negative. And in my desperation, I'm like, let's do a food allergy test. So I went online to Enteral Lab and did a food allergy test with them. And they test all kinds of stuff. They taste proteins, chicken, beef, they eggs, milk. They taste other things like soy, wheat, gluten, all kinds of things, plants from plants and from meats. So that came back, and Todd, that was the gentleman's name, he knew I was doing an allergy test. When that test came back, everything was in the red numbers, even meat, even though meat was on the lower end. Like my body was so inflamed, I couldn't handle anything. I had allergies, I had all kinds of things. So I showed it to a few friends and I posted it on my Facebook page. I'm like, what is going on with this? Does anybody have a similar experience? Maybe you who could help me, because the doctor knows nothing, obviously, and I'm at the end of my rope. So then Todd messaged me and he goes, have you ever thought about going completely carnivore? And I'm like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? He goes, well, he said, eat meat and eggs. And I'm like, what about vitamins and nutrients? I'm like, don't you get sick? And he goes, well, there's everything in the meat that you need. Why don't you try it? He said, even though meat is also in the red numbers, he said, I don't think that's what's bothering you. So February 9th, 2023, I have to think about it. I'm not sure. I just woke up from a nap, I have to say. So I'm not clearly there yet. So a little bit more than 2 years, I'm carnivore now. It didn't, when I tell you this, Dave, it did not even take a month for everything except for the migraines to completely go away. I had no more allergies. I had no more belly pain. I had no more fatigue. The only reason I slept now is it's tax season and I haven't slept in 3 days. Because pulling overnighter to get the last few tax things done, right, that doesn't help. So, and then my migraines were still kind of there, but not, how do I want to say that? Not to the degree that they were. So I had headaches, but they weren't as bad. Like when I used to have migraines, they were so debilitating. If I even would move around, sitting or standing up, they were so bad I would get breathing issues. Like I couldn't even move around. All I could do was lay in bed. So the first headache that I got, then again after about a month, I'm like, well, that wasn't bad. I'm kind of happy about this. And also about a month, he said, well, what are you doing? Why do you still have headaches? Why do you? And I'm like, I eat meat, I eat eggs, and I drink milk. He goes, have you ever thought about cutting out the milk? So I did cut out the milk, and took about another 2-3 weeks, and then the migraines were completely gone. Everything was just gone. I can't explain what happened. Now to explain what I did was I don't drink coffee. I don't drink anything that might come from a plant, and I don't eat anything that might come from a plant. For example, let's take pepperoni. Pepperoni is a meat product, but it's processed with plants. It's highly processed. So, and I tested this. Whenever I eat pepperoni, and this is also very ridiculous, I tested this by just eating one single slice of pepperoni, a tiny, that's like this big. 10 minutes later, I had breathing issues. You will not believe that. It was very severe. Yeah. and it lasted for about 48 hours and then it went away. And I'm like, that is pretty ridiculous. Uh, that was at the beginning. That was at the very beginning. So then last year around Christmas, I felt sorry for myself because everybody had the super, pumpkin mocha latte spice. And I'm like, well, a little bit of coffee maybe with heavy whipping cream, that'll do it. Well, all right, it did it, but not the way I intended. And it was just a little bit. When I drink my coffee, because I don't like the coffee taste, I like more mocha. I have a little bit of coffee like this, and I fill the rest up with milk or heavy whipping cream. And I don't think it was the milk, though. I do not believe it was the milk, because the milk does not give me joint issues. The milk just gives me breathing issues. So I drank the coffee with the milk, and about 4 or 5 days later, I noticed I had joint pain here and I had joint pain here, like my shoulders, because it's a ninja warrior, you use your shoulders a lot. So I'm like, I don't know if it's from the coffee. Let me just keep drinking coffee until it gets really bad, stupid, I know, and then stop the coffee and see if it improves. So I kept drinking the coffee. It got so out of control that I couldn't even hang from my shoulders. And you really need them as a ninja warrior. So I stopped all competitions. I stopped the coffee. And then after about a month of no coffee, my right shoulder got back to normal. My left shoulder stayed until 1 week ago from now. Like if you go a week back from now, that's how long I had issues in my left shoulder. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think during the time when the joint pain started, I also trained for a one-up pull-up, which I ultimately never achieved. I wanted to get that till the end of 2024. I'm still working on it due to the shoulder issue. Um, I think because of my joints being inflamed, I may have pulled something a little bit, and that's why the left shoulder took so long, but I don't know. But the ultimate answer to that is the coffee started it. So,
It's amazing that normal foods and drinks just have so much effect on us that when we stop, it's just like flipping a switch.
yes, that is crazy. And after the coffee, I came to the conclusion it's just not worth it. It's not worth it for me to do that. I feel great on meat. I'm turning 49 this year. I don't think I look 49. I had dark rings under my eyes. They looked like someone punched me. Uh, I still have rings, but they are not nearly as bad as they were. People would always say, "Man, you have to take a nap. You're not napping. You're not napping, dude. I'm sleeping 8 to 9 hours a night. I don't know what to tell you." I'm talking about sleep. My sleep is incredible. Like, I know as a child, you could carry me away, and then sometimes during adulthood, it disappeared. I'm at the point again where my sleep is so deep, you can carry me away. I wouldn't know. That's great. And I need less sleep too.
That's awesome. Um, so since February 2023, like what how are you eating day to day?
In the morning, I usually have either an egg omelette or steak. I like beef. Very rarely do I eat uh, pork, and even more rare do I eat chicken. And every once in a rare while, like every 3 months, I might eat a piece of fish. It's usually beef. Beef makes me feel the best, and I can tell a difference. If I had pork, I'm a little tiny bit sleepy after that, and I have, I wouldn't say cognition problems, but I sometimes can't remember things. On beef, I don't have that. I'm not sure why exactly that is.
So sorry, it's only one meal a day.
It's usually one meal a day unless I work out really, really hard. And then I add another one because working out makes me hungry. Weightlifting makes me incredibly hungry.
Could you explain a little bit about Ninja Warrior?
Yes, so many, many years ago, there I can't even remember. I know it started in Japan with the Sasuke, and And it's been there for a long time. And I think here in the States, it's been 18 years now. In the United States are the country that has the second longest record of that show, I believe. And then other countries followed up. I know they have one in Germany, they have one in Austria. Not sure who else, if they might have one in Spain. I don't know. They're pretty popular, actually. And here in America, it's called the American Ninja Warrior. Um, the owner of the gymnasium where I'm training at, that this is my fifth year on his competitive travel team. He used to be on the show, and the coach that we're having, Matt Bradley, he also used to be on the show. And Tim Dexter, he's the owner of the gym. Both of them are not competing on the show anymore. I've tried to get in, but seems like they don't like my story. You have to have a good story, I guess. I don't know. But that's pretty much what it is. And when I saw the TV show for the first time, I'm like, dude, I could do this. I totally could. So I did, but I did not know where to start. And then driving around the neighborhood, I found a Ninja Warrior gym. At first, I thought it was a climbing gym, but then when I looked up the name, I'm like, a Ninja Warrior gym. This is it. I could start. So I took my best friend, went in there, and the rest's history. What you do is you're basically standing on a starter block, and then they give you a time frame, or three, it's usually 3 or 4 beeps, like beep 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 beep, and then you start racing, you start running through an obstacle course. It's mostly overhead, but it could also be something that you're running over. It could be balance, slow balancing, it could be fast agility where you have to run fast, and then the things overhead are just different things. It could be a cube that you have to turn with your hands, or you're hanging off of a cannonball and you're trying to get to the next cannonball. Or one of my favorite obstacles, the salmon ladder, where you're hanging on a stick basically and you're hopping up. I don't know if you ever seen the TV show The Green Arrow with the superhero. Yeah, you don't watch TV.
No, not so much, no.
Yeah. And that superhero, he used to do it all the time. It's pretty famous from that show. Like when he was working out. Yeah.
Right. So I guess, on a carnivore diet, it must be almost like taking a legal
Dude,
steroid
you're
for you.
superhuman. Oh yeah, you're superhuman. I know. I started Ninja Warrior and I used to be a world champion martial artist. Can you believe my last world title of the world largest association, which was called WKA at the time, World Kickboxing Association. Now it's called WKU, World Kickboxing Union. And they were the largest at the time. That was 2012. And I always wanted to become a world champion in that one. And that particular year, I managed it twice. So I started competing in 1994, and I ended it with the last world title in 2012. So yeah, almost 20 years. It took me forever. Like the progress was like a snail. It was painfully slow. And now at Ninja Warrior, I started 2019. And between 2019 and 2023, I ate the regular diet. And sometimes my migraines were so bad, they came every 2 weeks. Turns out they were hormonal because my thyroid was shot. And with enough fat, it just kind of leveled out. It didn't take long, month and a half, 2 months. Um, and now that I'm not sick 10, 15 days out of the month, I can actually train. So when I started Carnivore 2023 till now, the improvement was just mind blowing. In fact, this year, this competition season, which started September 2024, and it's still ongoing, I'm already qualified for the World Championships, which are in June. I don't even have to do regionals if I don't want to. Like, I'm already in because I qualified through a special event. Um, I talked to my coach about it. My progress this year was the highest progress I have ever had in Ninja Warrior, which is mind blowing because it's usually the first year that you have like the steepest progress. But for me, it's year number 5. It's just crazy the progress that I've had. I mean, at this point, I'm starting swinging on the cliffhanger like the youngins, and I'm like, where does this come from? Like people my age usually do the cliffhanger like this, like slow, and I'm going whoop whoop. Like I'm actually pretty quick on it at this point, and I'm like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I like it.
So how does this impact you just day to day in your normal, going about things life?
I would say I'm a lot calmer. There is not an incredible mess going on in your brain and confusion because you're hungry all the time. I would eat breakfast, and 3 hours later, I would be hungry. And it's just an incredible distraction if you have a job to do and all you think about is food. It's so annoying. You can't even and I don't know if you want to call it hangry. You're just moody all the time because you're hungry all the time. And then if somebody asks you something and there is this, I don't know, you're not answering in an angry way, but you're just annoyed. You know what I mean? And it kind of comes through somehow. And that is gone. I'm calm like the sea. I even make jokes. I don't know myself, so
Yeah, it's very freeing to not be tied to always thinking about what's coming next as
yes.
far as food's concerned, right? Because
Yes,
it's
that's
always like you have breakfast, then it's like, what's for my snack at 10 o'clock? What's for lunch? What's for, you know?
yeah. And there's this fatigue. There is this fatigue. You go into the kitchen and you're completely overwhelmed. Because in your fruit bowl you have 8 to 10 different fruits. Then you open the pantry, you have vegetable and canned stuff in there. You open the refrigerator, there's your other stuff in there. You're like, what do I eat? Like you can't make a decision. And then I mean, I was never that way because I was always an athlete. I would never eat junk food. I had my healthy fruits and vegetables. Despite that, I got sick. But I can understand other people when they're standing in the kitchen and they can't make a decision, and then they're grabbing for a bag of chips because it goes quicker. You know, I can understand that completely.
When you're doing Ninja Warrior, has anyone kind of said to you, how come you're doing so well?
Uh actually, actually, I changed my name. As a ninja warrior, I did not have well. My name used to be the celiac ninja. All of the ninja warriors, or most of the ninja warriors, have given themselves a name, like I don't know, the music ninja, or um, or what's Joe Moravsky's name? The Weatherman. He's called the Weatherman because of his former job. And I gave myself the celiac ninja name because of the gluten. I used to have celiac disease. So I'm thinking, yeah, now that I don't have issues anymore, I need a new name. What am I going to do? My whole identity is gone. I used to be the celiac ninja. I had a real identity crisis. Well, I'm thinking celiac and carnivore both start with the C, so I'm just leaving it as it is and call myself the carnivore ninja. And people saw that I changed my name from the celiac to the carnivore ninja, so a few people would ask, and then I explained it. I made an Instagram account with that, and I explained it on there and everything. And now people know who I am. I actually have also a YouTube channel called the Carnivore Ninja Podcast. And funny enough, the first year that I started the carnivore diet, I went down to North Carolina. I live in Pennsylvania. So that's quite a bit because there is a huge event called the Ultimate Backyard Warrior, UBW, where ninjas from all over the globe come and participate. And there are 3 or 4 different courses with the first stage, a second stage. The third stage is over water, and the fourth stage is going up 50 or 60 foot rope. So I'm like, oh, let's go down there. So I had my little cooler with me, I had my little hamburger in there and my stew meat pieces and my butter. And one lady stopped me. I think I was standing in front of stage two. Stage one was already done. I advanced to stage two. So one lady walks up to me as I'm snacking on my stew meat and she goes, are you on the carnivore diet? And I'm like, yes, I am, by happenstance. I'm like, this is why my name is the carnivore ninja, right? And then she asked me how I was doing. I explained it. She was blown away, and I was blown away that she knew that. Like it's becoming more popular.
So, on that, if someone came to you and said, look, Stephanie, I want to give carnivore a try, how do I get started? How would you recommend they kick off carnivore?
And actually, I just had a friend do that, and what I told her was, here's what I would do. don't necessarily do what I did. I threw out everything because I was so tired of the pain. I went completely carnivore. Everything I had in my pantry, I gave to a friend because she has a like a shelter for women, and she just gave it to them. I said to her, if you don't want to get the runs after a week or two, like I had, and it was horrible. As a school bus driver, you can't just leave the bus and go to the bathroom with 75 children in the back. So I had a real issue. I said to her, go slow, because you will get the keto flu. Use up what you have in your pantry, and everything new that you buy will be meat and eggs and fish. And just don't buy any more bread, don't buy any more grains or cookies, fruit, vegetables. Just kind of eat up what you have, and then what you buy will only be meat products, and see how that goes. So she's still not quite transitioned yet, and it's been about 2 weeks. I think it's going well.
Oh, nice. So Stephanie, if people want to reach out to you, how can they get in contact? You mentioned you have a channel.
Yes, I have a channel on YouTube. It's called the Carnivore Ninja Podcast. And I have a page on Instagram called the Carnivore Ninja. And just on Facebook regularly, I'm just Steph Gilbert on Facebook. My friends call me Steph, so I always shorten that.
No worries. Well, I'll link to all of those below. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.